If you don't want to hear me read out my story, please mute the video and enjoy reading. A Prince's Tale by Sultan Tariq. The prince who never wanted to rule, prophesied by seers to one day bring about everlasting peace and happiness to the realm. The one true heir would be born to the kingdom of Cassandra on the Isles of Hope, for he will be known to all as the benevolent prince. Should he fall from grace, all hope is lost, for he shall also be named the destroyer of worlds and the devourer of souls, for he is darkness incarnate. We begin our story in a dark, glistening, moonless night. The wind whispers frigid, piercing past all those who have travelled its roads before. From in their beds, not even the crackling fires and the sound of loved ones huddling together in their homes, sheltering them from a darker secret they have still yet to comprehend. Even on this perilous night, where no songs were sung on what was once known as the Isles of Hope, a child cries, a mother weeps silently frozen tears for the child she wasn't even given the chance to name. Until this dark time, our prophecy begins with a boy's scream for a single embrace. No one answers the boy's call, but a single bird's feathered wings seem to spread as mesmerizing as the night sky, resembling purple stars covering the child as if it were a blanket, sheltering him from death's icy grip. As the years have passed by, the bird remains always compelled to aid this child, now reaching maturity, carving out a life of thieving and pilfering for not only himself, but his constant companion and his only friend from the neighbouring villages of Astaria. Astaria, a capital full of life where wildflowers grow, sought after by many for their magical properties as well as many other pleasures. Traders come from far and wide, travelling oceans and deserts just for this mysterious herb, as have raiders who seek to control the small village of wonders. The bustling city of Astaria, surrounded on all sides by the cascading waves of the ocean, a small village walled and manned day and night to deter raiders and bandits, a village surrounded by flowers that glow in the moonlight, their luminescence seen far as the pollen showers the isles each night, mulberry wine and turquoise green, a sight to behold. The boy, now a man, who was never given a name, wakes in his home, high on a mountainside on the Isles of Hope, a cave that he and his friend live in. His friend, the bird named Genius, a bluebird with long black feathered wings with purple stars and soft orange talons, his eyes sparkling green. The boy and Genius travel down the mountain through the wooded area towards the city of Astaria, crouched down on the approach, seeking to replenish their supplies that cannot be found on the mountain. The boy and Genius survey the manned wall, looking for the perfect time to slip past the guards, for the wall itself is manned by a few in the daytime, and at night mannequins with armour and torches to give the appearance of strength in numbers to deter invaders. The boy and Genius know this, so they always risk the day, and on this day, the boy's destiny revealed. Genius, as always, searches a fruit market and acquires peaches and bananas, for it is their favourite of all foods. Meanwhile, the boy searches for clothing, potions, and magical tomes, for he is gifted in the arcane arts. As the boy searches, one of the guards sees him and grabs a hold of the boy and pins him to the wall. The boy raises his hand and small sparks fling out from his fingertips. Ingenious sees the signal of help and flies through the market swiftly and with precision around each corner, and as he approaches, Genius crushes the peaches and bananas in his talons and dives right at the guard, colliding directly in his face and knocking the guard over, and the boy and Genius attempt to escape through the alley as the guard is temporarily blinded from the rescue attack, but the commotion caused alerted the others. The The boy and Genius run into a group of guards, and the boy charges straight and turns the ground to water and slides beneath one of the guards and runs through the markets with Genius flying overhead. The boy sees a ship and heads for it, while the guards pursue steadily behind. The boy barges past the villagers to the docks and leaps over containers of magical herbs and potions. As he does, the guards close in around him, his escape looking impossible. One of the guards draws his bows and fires his arrow, heading straight for the boy. Genius notices and flies downward, and with a flap of his wings, a sharp gust of wind arcs forward, knocking the arrow and breaking it apart. Genius sends out another wave of wind, and as he does this, the boy grabs one of the potions from the containers near him and hurls it towards the guards, and fires a short burst of sparks from his fingers, igniting the substance within, and rushes towards the flames. And Genius sends forth a gust of wind just in front of the boy, providing a path through the flames, and the boy leaps and lands on the ship. Unfortunately for the boy, he was not alone on the ship. A stumbling noise came from below, and a man appeared drunkenly, his name Edward, a tall, serious-looking rogue type with scars over his chest and arms. He wore a cloak fastened around his neck with a butterfly brooch pin, with trousers ripped and burned from long ago. Edward shouts and groans, mumbling about the commotion, when suddenly a spear comes whistling past the boy's ear and towards Edward, where he kicks the spear upwards and leaps spiralingly into the air, and with a downward thrust of his foot, hurls the spear back towards the guards on the dock. The spear pierces the ground with tremendous force. A cloud of dust and debris is sent all around. The guards seem startled and in terror at the very sight of Edward's eyes. As the dust cloud disappears, Edward simply smirks, and with a stumble, he grabs the ropes near him to unveil a hidden compartment from the mast, and with a flick of his wrist on the ropes, weapons are sent hurtling towards the guards, when suddenly a member from the Order of Ashendrake, a high-ranking authority group amongst the kingdoms whose skills and renown are legendary and feared by all, this mysterious person thrusts their staff in the ground and invokes a spell seal around the guards, protecting them from harm. Once the initial attack is blocked, a barrier remains present with signs and symbols that resemble words from the ancients that lived long ago all around the barrier, and with a wave of a hand, multiple fireballs are sent, bombarding the ship the boy and Edward are on. Sending the ship over the cascading waterfall that protects the grand city of Cassandra on the Isles of Hope, where only by means of entering or leaving the city is by being hoisted up and down the large isle by chains attached to a mechanism. This natural protection the city has very few weaknesses, but a great defense. As the cascading waterfall is so powerful that any who try to scale it are ripped to shreds by its currents. As the ship is sent flying off the island, the currents slice through the boat, knocking the boat in all directions, and the boy leaps from one part of the ship to the next, clinging to life as the torrential assault of the water continues from his considerable climb descent downwards. Edward springs up to his feet and straps the boy to himself and laughs, shouting, "Here we go again," while laughing and reassuring his ship that he will make things better. Meanwhile, Genius is soaring towards the boy amongst the chaos and loses sight of the ship and flies higher to get a better view, trying to pinpoint the boy's position, frantically searching the surrounding area below for days and wider out into the ocean with no luck, when suddenly he spots the wreckage from the boat and follows along, desperately searching. As Genius flies further, the weather worsens from hail battering Genius to dodging lightning that periodically strikes Genius. Genius searches and searches, growing weaker and weaker, and falls to the depths of the ocean, submerged. Out of energy, yet compelled to reach the boy, Genius's eyes close, yet a memory from ages past awakens a life long ago. The true friend that once sacrificed all, one last act of devotion. Genius's body sparkles and glows, and with a pulse of energy reverberates the ocean, trembling the sea creatures around him, and soars ever higher once more. And swiftly flying with desperation to locate the boy, he spots an island and is drawn in by it, in the presence of familiarity, following it, hoping to once more serve as he once did.